It's been a minute, and I just had such a beautiful conversation in my DMs. So, here are 3 tips for setting sustainable goals and habits, particularly for when shit just ain't going right. When you feel like you just keep trying, maybe you're feeling low key depressed, maybe you're just over it. You're like, yo, what are goals? I don't have time for this. Here are some things that, particularly this past month, have helped me stay on track and be a little kind to myself. Not a little kind, a lot kind. The first one is something I've been doing is getting clear on what my values are. So let's say, for example, one of my values is fostering community. And this is in regards to just life period, personal, professional. I love bringing people together. And so I have a list of values. I have about 5. If I create a new goal or habits, whether it's personal or professional, if it doesn't align with those values, then it's out. It's out. And so for you as a person, as a human, you can create 5 values for yourself, how you're trying to move, how you're trying to live your life, what's your impact, what's your purpose, how do you nurture yourself. If you create a new goal or a habit, something you're like, oh, I want to try that, and it doesn't align with those values, then it's out. It's out. And if you feel like you really feel passionately about it, you feel strongly about it, then it's time to reevaluate your values. So that's something that's changed again for me. I would limit it to about 3 to 5 values. You can do personal ones, you can do professional ones, but it's really helped me to be realistic about the goals that I'm setting for myself, and make sure that I'm on track for the greater picture. You feel me? Another one, a huge one, a main one, this is probably my number one, is micro goals. We are so stuck on setting like these lofty goals for ourselves, and we're like, oh my God, I didn't do it. I'm a failure, blah, blah, blah. It's like you didn't do it because you went from 0 to 100. So if you've never been a runner and you're like, I'm gonna run a marathon, maybe that works for you. Maybe that works for you. I don't think that works for a lot of people personally. I think that's unrealistic. So why not do something like, I want to get into running and I'm going to do a 5K. And nothing competitive. I just want to do this 5K. My goal is to not stop for the 5K. Then I'll do a 10K, right? And work your way up. I'm huge on micro goals because I'm not going to play myself. I'm the only person that can set myself up for success at the end of the day. And so I'm not going to set an unrealistic goal for myself just to then deem myself a failure because it was impossible pretty much in the first place. And there's a balance to that, of course. There's a balance between knowing when to be realistic, but also how to push yourself, right? But for me, I think if you're not a runner and then you do a 5K, I think that's pretty huge. Obviously, it doesn't matter what I think. It's on you. But for me personally, micro goals are how I attain my macro goals. And it's also how I keep my momentum. I keep my spirits up. I check things off the list as I go, like, great job, great job, great job. You got to keep that momentum, because it's so easy to just feel so disappointed in yourself. But really, it's because you went from not doing any exercise to wanting to climb Mount Everest, and now you all pissed and sad at yourself because you didn't climb Mount Everest. Not realistic. Number 3, I approach failures as lessons, and they're really not even failures. They're only failures if I took nothing from it. That's how I deem things failures. So for example, what's a goal? I don't know. Maybe I made a goal for myself to work out every morning. I'm not working out in the morning. Like, it's not happening. It's not happening. And so I personally wouldn't even do that to myself, but let's say I did. If I set a goal for myself saying I'm going to work out every morning and I didn't, I wouldn't be like, oh, wow, like, you're a failure. You couldn't even work out at 11 a.m. every morning. I wouldn't even do that to myself. I don't even speak to myself that way. Instead, it's, okay, how can we adjust this? What do I need to learn about myself here? And for me, that told me I probably don't want to work out in the morning. So can we adjust that to noon? Can we adjust that to 2 p.m.? What can I watch my behavior throughout the day to see what time of day am I the most hype, right? The most active? When do I feel the most energized to work out? It's obviously not at 11 a.m. I didn't feel motivated to do that. And so for me, I tweak things as I go. And I think people just set out, they create goals where they're like, I'm going to do this every day for a year. No, you're not. Like, you're probably not even going to do something every day for a month. You're probably not even going to do something every day for a week. I don't even set everyday goals for myself. My morning routine never looks the same. My priority with my morning routine is that I nourish myself in the morning before I nourish anyone else. I talk to myself before I talk to other people. That's the theme. That's the value, right? It's not focused on what the actual actions are. I'm focused on the value in the goal. And that's another big piece of it. But yeah, so approach your failures, as you call them, or as you may call them, as lessons. What can you learn about yourself, and how can you tweak that goal, that mission, to be more attainable for yourself? Because again, only you can set yourself up for success. And conversely, only you can set yourself up for failure. So you did that. And the bonus, I am so great at this. Don't be afraid to put goals down. Like, I have no problem picking a goal up. Maybe I'll try it out a little bit and I'll realize, you know what, this isn't aligned with my life at the moment, and that's fine. I have a goal. I have so many goals for the future, and I think some people view that as a, you know, what is it, like, no time is better than the present or something like that, whatever. Yeah, I guess, I guess. I got other shit to do right now, and that's okay. I'm only one person. I'm a human. I'm not trying to live my life on this planet stressed out over goals that I make for myself. That's not even fun. And if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. I only do fun things. And so if you try something and it doesn't work, maybe you put it down and maybe you pick it up next month. Maybe you pick it up next year. And again, it's like, like I said before, there's a balance, right, between knowing when you're being lazy and you're not pushing yourself, and knowing when you're being realistic. And that comes through learning about yourself and learning how to push yourself and when to push yourself. So if you truly, are well read on yourself, if you're truly your number one cheerleader, then you won't feel badly for picking up a goal and putting it down, because you know that it's for a reason. It's for a purpose. It's because you have some other things that you got to handle right now, and you'll get to those when you do. And for me, I have no rush. I'm on my own timeline. It doesn't really matter what other people are doing. It doesn't matter what other people think about what I'm doing. It's Megan's universe over here, and it's your universe as well. You're the greatest to ever do it, and we're all trying our best every day. So yeah, if you pick up a goal, you can easily put it back down. And the big piece of that, though, is putting it down without shame, putting it down without deeming yourself a failure, putting it down with confidence, right? Putting it down with love. And I would say for me, that's one thing that I've really mastered. I don't feel badly about it, honestly. And so, to recap, 3 bedtime tips for setting sustainable goals and habits. 1, create a list of values, whether it's like personal, professional, or both. And every time you think of a new habit or a goal, if it doesn't align with those, then it's out, at least for right now. And if you really want it, then it's time to tweak your values. 2, my number one, if I'm breathing heavily, it's because I'm in Mexico City and I cannot breathe because of the altitude, so blessings. Micro goals over everything. Look at your macro goal, break it down. How can you tick your way there? And how can you make it sustainable for yourself and realistic? 3, approach your failures as a lesson. Learn about yourself. Make it fun. Like, what's the point? What's the point in doing any of this, yo? If you're not having fun, if you're not making this an educational experience, you're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life. You're going to fail at some shit. Again, let me tell you, it's going to happen again. It's probably going to happen tomorrow. So what can you learn every time that this happens? If you deem it a failure, I don't really. It's just life. I'm still the greatest to ever do it. Lastly, the bonus, don't be afraid to put goals down. It's okay. You're on your own timeline. Fuck the rest. It's all about you. Even if you have a partner, if you have kids, it's even more so about you, because if you can't nourish yourself, you definitely can't nourish them. So, in summary, it's all about you. And that's it. With love from Mexico. Happy Sunday.